Hey y'all, it's Donnie. I'm back with the Major Arcana review and the Fool's Journey. So we left off on the star card and now we are on the moon. The moon is such an interesting card to me because it can kind of go either way, whether it's upright or reversed. And one of the things that really sticks out to me with the energy of the moon is that it really depends on, of course, with any other tarot card, it depends on how it's showing up in the spread, the situation that it's showing up around, right? But this is a card about illumination. This is a card about the subconscious. It also alludes to our intuition or speaks to our intuition. And the moon is always presented as a full moon in the tarot, the moon card itself. So, or I'll say typically, I haven't seen every single interpretation of a tarot deck, but typically it shows up as a full moon. In the Morgan Grier deck, we have, this one is also very similar to the Rider-Waite here with the two dogs, with the lobster here, sometimes depicted as a crawfish, and sometimes these dogs are depicted with one black and one white, but here we have yellow, and then we have like a reddish brown dog here howling at the moon. Either way, the dogs or the wolves are howling at the moon here. And what's interesting to me is that with the lobster emerging from the water, this is really a representation of fixed water in this image, just not necessarily mutable water, because and I say that because the moon is often linked to Pisces, and the number here is 18, which is another representation of the number 9, and completion, which I also find to be very interesting with the moon card, because on the one hand, where the moon is showing us where something is wanting to be brought to the surface, quite literally with the lobster coming to the surface from the subconscious, or from a situation that may not be as clear as it could be at the forefront. There's like something that's wanting to come through here. And mutable water is changeable. That's what it is. And it's the depths. When you think about Pisces and mutable water, you're thinking about the ability to transform while being submerged, if that makes sense. And so having like a fixed water scene here is just, it's always been very interesting to me to have that expression in the image, because Scorpio is the fixed water sign, not Pisces. However, I do see where they're going with this, with the imagery. Now, if you pay attention, if you remember those pillars from the High Priestess card, they're kind of shown again with the full moon being in between these two tower-like structures in the background here, which is also alluding to the veil again, or the passing through, or something wanting to come through that spiritual veil. So just noticing that here again in the moon card, I think is important. It's showing you an interconnectivity. And we also have to remember the zodiac signs that are linked to the moon specifically also, which is Cancer and the exaltation in Taurus. So those two zodiac signs are also present here, in my opinion. And depending on who you're reading again, and the spread, and also the circumstances, you'll be able to intuit which of those energies is really being emphasized in the reading, I feel. And so if we take a look at, and also the colors here, with the blue, that's linked to intuition, third eye. We know that purple is alluding to divinity. I feel like the colors here of these specific dogs are linked to the solar plexus and the root, or and when you think about the root also, I meant to say this in another video, the root is also connectivity to ancestry, because those are your roots. That's where you come from, right? But I do think that this is like being directed, because solar plexus energy is about being directed, and the full moon is illuminating the light from the sun, which is linked to the solar plexus as well. And we know the sun and the moon are essentially an interplay of energies working together. So I feel like that's present here in the moon card for the Morgan Grier deck. And also, since I'm looking at it too, if we go back, hold on, color up, homegirl, to the star card, where the picture that she has of the water pouring into the earth versus the color of the picture that's pouring into the water is red, which is also alluding to your roots again. So I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, so In the High Council Oracle and Tarot deck, we have a figure standing in front of the moon, and the moon itself is presented in that third eye color of that like indigo and deeper blue here. And then you still see the red coming through in the background, which has to do with the roots. And what's written on this card for the moon in this deck is mysteries revealed, hidden things, deception for the reverse meaning, unhappiness and mental confusion, a difficult period. I really like that difficult period is here. I feel like that particular interpretation can apply to an upright or a reverse position, because if you're not seeing things clearly, it can be a difficult period for you because you need the clarity. This is something that's wanting to come through. This isn't the actual reveal when the moon is showing up. It's telling you that you need to lean into your intuition and trust what you're seeing. You're needing to pay attention to the symbols that are surrounding the issue. What nudges are you picking up? What impressions are being picked up here? What are your dreams telling you? There's insomnia on this particular card as well. If you're up, if you're someone who gets this card, or if you're reading yourself, whatever, and the moon comes up and you do find yourself relating to like the insomnia aspect of the moon card, ask yourself, what am I being asked to do, or what am I being asked to address while I'm awake? A lot of times it's really easy for us to just like scroll through the phone or, distract ourselves in some way because we are up. But usually like popping up in the middle of the night, that's some guidance wanting to come through, and you may need to just kind of sit with that to allow that to be brought to the surface. That's what I'm saying. And so I like also in this image how it almost kind of looks like the rocky image of standing on the moon. There's really just a kind of a feeling of searching that's being presented on this particular moon card. And it also kind of looks like they're standing on like if you were looking at someone on the moon with the universe or space in the background just a little bit. I really appreciate that perspective from this image too. But also, y'all, please remember that if you want the interpretation of the High Council Oracle and Tarot deck, there's a video on atawalkwithancestors.com's website that you can purchase and review. I have not seen that video, but I do know it's there. So if that's what you want to get some clarification on, do that. This is my interpretation, okay? So the next card we have is the sun. The sun follows the moon in the tarot. And I do want to say that also, as it relates to the fool's journey, the moon is, I feel like, the fool accepting his own intuition and accepting the language of his own subconscious and how the symbols are speaking to him specifically. So now we have the sun card, which is the number 19, which is the completion of a cycle. When you see the sun, it's about... I would also even say the new beginning. So shedding light on what was previously being hidden from the moon card. So whatever was being trying to get there, it's here now. You see it. It's clear. You understand. The sun is about knowing. And it also goes back to the lovers again, because the lovers are present like 3 times within the deck. And they're brought back here in the Morgan Grier deck as also a symbol of marriage, and the sun can represent a marriage or a harmonious relationship being brought to the attention in the reading. The sun card also has these sunflowers here, and it has sunflower in the original Rider-Waite as well, but it has like a child on a horse in the Rider-Waite version of the sun card, which is also about freedom and full expression. The sun represents the soul in a lot of ways through symbology, and removing shame from any situation, self-acceptance within the situation, being confident, okay? And we're about to run out of time, so let me stop here and I'll be back. All right, peace.